The Pistons take a commanding 2-0 lead over the Cavs. The Knicks want to sign an actor. The Lakers can't buy a foul, and they should definitely try. But first, it is a Spurs day. We are in San Antonio. Game 3 between San Antonio and Minnesota as the series shifts north to the frozen tundra. Well, I think they're thawing out right now here in May. But either way, it is definitely quite the hike up to the top of the country where the Spurs are trying to take their first lead of the series tonight. 8:30 tip-off. Let me check where that is, as you can always hear those games on WOAI, but it'll be on Prime Video if you want to watch the video stream. Dan Weiss and I will be on the radio broadcast, and we will be out at the Rock with Dylan Emery. Well, Dan Weiss will be at the Target Center in Minneapolis. I'll be at the Rock with Dylan Emery. LG, hey, you're definitely catching the game tonight. Any plans to do it away from the comfort of your own living room?
No, absolutely not.
No, I understand that, because let me tell you, I think after the first round against the Blazers, the Spurs, I don't know how they're necessarily going to be able to enforce it, have a wait list to watch the game at the Frost Plaza at the Rocket La Cantera. So it was wild out there, but it's an open space. Like, it's not like there's a door. there's a million ways to be able to sneak your way into the Frost Plaza, and it gets crowded fast. So if you are not on the wait list, go ahead and get on the wait list. If you're not on the wait list, maybe you don't go to the Frost Plaza. There's plenty of places out at La Cantera and across this great city of San Antonio to catch the game. But it's a good time out there at the Frost Plaza. I'm looking forward to it. A lot of great energy among Spurs fans, but it definitely was quite, especially for me who has to work during the game, quite the hassle to get food and drink because it was just so overcrowded. But it was definitely worth it for the fun, the atmosphere, and being around everybody else cheering on the Spurs. Minnesota, it feels like they were playing with house money in game 2, and now they need to figure out how they're going to adjust to the Spurs adjustments. The biggest thing I saw in game 2, LG, was the Spurs figured out a way to just basically say, Anthony Edwards, you're not yourself. You don't really have anybody else that can beat us. So the Spurs sent double teams, got the ball out of Anthony Edwards' hands, and made everybody else come away with points, and not really anybody succeeded. Like I said, in game 2, nobody scored more than 12 points. They had 4 players who scored 12 points, but granted, that's not going to win you any playoff games.
Yeah, and on the other end of that, every single Spur scored at least 2 points, except for poor Mason Plumlee.
Yeah, he got in late, and so
he did miss an alley-oop, though, so that's on him.
Yeah, it's not like there weren't chances, and the intensity was pretty low by the end of that game. Those were just players' formality, letting the game clock run out. And it's one of those things where after a game like that, I wonder what the conversation's like with the Timberwolves. Chris Finch, the head coach of Minnesota, said that his team got punked. And yeah, it's almost like you want to throw that game out, but it's a playoff game. You can't throw it out. If it's a regular season game, you move on to your next team, whoever that might be. You go on to Memphis. You go back to Minnesota to host whoever it is.
Yeah, mentally you can throw that game out now. Just think about it. It's a wash. It's a best of 5 series now.
Yeah, but like, what is there to learn from that? They need to learn schematics for sure. They will have to look at what Wemby did differently. But when you look at what Wemby did differently, he just took a lot more command of the game. He really wanted to get inside more. And Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle can do what they want to try and slow down Wemby, but they don't necessarily have the firepower to keep up with the Spurs when the Spurs are shooting decently from 3. And that's going to be an interesting thing to keep an eye on tonight, as I think if the Spurs can shoot a decent amount of threes, there's at a good percentage, then there's no way that the Timberwolves come away with a win simply because they missed Dante DiVincenzo too much. Ayo Dosunmu did not look anything like the player that he needs to be, as he sort of plays through a calf strain. So both him and Ant Edwards are still questionable going into this game. And not only did Ant look not as fluid as he did in that first game, the Spurs I think, took their level of respect for Ant Edwards to a bit higher of a level with all of the double teams they were sending. Ant said after the game that it was crazy how many double teams they were sending, but it wasn't really crazy because he can't play 1-on-2. He has to get rid of the ball, and then somebody else like a Terrence Shannon Jr. needs to take advantage of their brief time that they're open before the defensive rotations come over.
Yeah, nothing's crazy about that. Ant seems to throw that word crazy around a lot. Everyone gets double teamed if you're a superstar in the NBA. Come on now.
Yeah, Ant's what is he, 24? He's a youngin', and he's somebody who is very much a, I guess, border. Is he Gen Z? It feels like his
that.
communication. Yeah, it feels like his communication is very exuberant and not necessarily trying to be articulate. He's just trying to answer questions as they come. And he did answer a lot of great questions as he was getting dressed to the reporters, and he seemed to be in decent enough mood because really the Timberwolves do still have home court advantage. They could play as relaxed as they wanted to in that game too. They, according to Ant, came out too cool for game 2. And you can't do that in a playoff series necessarily, but the Spurs have all the momentum heading into this game. The one thing that is interesting, LG, is that San Antonio has not won a game in Minnesota. I want to get the actual date right, since October 24th of 2022. So
it's a long time.
Yeah, basically nobody on this roster. Does that predate Wemby? I guess it does, because Wemby was drafted in 2023. So Wemby has never won a game with the Spurs at Minneapolis.
Keldon was there.
Yeah, of course Keldon was there. Keldon, longest tenured Spur, and that used to be a little bit of a shock, but now 2019 feels like forever ago when the Spurs drafted him. So that was his first year, the 2019-2020 season. So I'll look up and, man, that was more than half a decade ago. So, yeah, but Keldon has definitely picked up a win. I guess Vassell would also be on that team. But the Spurs, it's not that they struggle in Minneapolis. Minneapolis has a good home court advantage. They're going to be excited to try and provide some energy. The last 2 games in Minnesota earlier this season on January 11th and November 30th, the Spurs lost. It was a 1-point loss on January 11th and a 125-112 loss in November. That's okay. It really is the regular season kind of thing. And very different looking roster for the Timberwolves because they have the injury to Dante DiVincenzo and they have the injuries that the 2 rotation players of Ayo Dosunmu and the superstar that is Anthony Edwards are working through. Ant is not likely to have a 40-point game. If he goes out and has a 40-point game, it's going to be an all-time performance because he's also playing through an injury that's very clearly hampering him. My prediction tonight is that the Spurs jump out early. There's going to be a counter from Minnesota, but then the Spurs just win the battle of attrition and come away with, I would say, a pretty handedly win. Not necessarily a blowout win, and not saying that it won't be up for grabs for Minnesota to try and make a late run in the fourth quarter. But San Antonio, they had a little bit of a wake-up call in that game 1. And the real wake-up call was to Wemby and De'Aaron Fox because both of those guys are probably the best offensive players on the Spurs, but the Spurs are so loaded with talent. And I see it even more when I watch the rest of the teams around the NBA, that the Spurs have shooters. They have creators that can do things that make Wemby and De'Aaron Fox's life easier. Yet I think the Spurs are at their best offensively when those 2 guys get it going early. And that's really what I think the Spurs decided to do in game 2. And that's what I think they're going to try and continue to do perhaps throughout the rest of the playoffs. The fact that the Spurs don't necessarily need Wemby and D Fox to be heavily involved makes them dangerous. But when they are involved and motivated to play their games, and I think once again, Wemby was settling for 3-point shots. Not that they weren't good looks. I think he was settling for 3-point shots a little too much in game 1. Granted, Wemby goes 3 of 8 instead of 0 for 8. The Spurs win game 1. But
Yeah, well, Mitch Johnson said it himself in the press conference yesterday or 2 days ago after the game. He said that De'Aaron Fox and Wemby are, like you just said, the best offensive players they have. And De'Aaron Fox is known as Mr. Clutch in the fourth quarter, but he doesn't necessarily have to score all of his points in the fourth quarter. When he gets going early in the game, it's kind of like a domino effect. That opens up opportunities for Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper. And now with Carter Bryant back healthy again, there's a lot of opportunities for every Spur to score if those two guys, Wemby and Fox, get started early and get aggressive early in the game.
I'm very happy you brought up Carter Bryant because that was something that I made a mental note to bring up, and I was not going to get to it and probably talk Spurs a lot later here in the show. But Carter Bryant missing that first game with a foot sprain and coming back in game 2, he wasn't the reason that they won game 2, but he makes such a difference as just a freak athlete that's determined to play defense.
Exactly. And it also gives a little bit of relief to people that are in a little bit of foul trouble, like Stephon Castle, because Carter Bryant, that's more fouls for another person that he can absorb them. It's kind of like a foul sponge there. He can absorb the fouls that would have gone on Stephon Castle. They hit Carter Bryant instead.
Yeah, Castle did get 5 fouls in game 2. He fouled out of game 1. Carter Bryant, he's not somebody who he's going to be a heavy factor on the offensive side of the ball. He's going to be tasked to spread the court and hit his spot up threes when he has the chance, or just be there for the play to continue. You kick it out to Carter, and if he has a chance to shoot an open 3 or just take care of the basketball, I think he does a really good job of attacking closeouts, and he's somebody who can get assists and not turn the ball over. I love Carter Bryant. He's a very smart player, and he is going to probably be an X factor in tonight's game, because when you talk about just an athletic wing that, quite frankly, if I'm not mistaken, he beat Harrison Barnes off of the bench. He's pretty much worked his way ahead of Harrison Barnes, who's a very good player and a solid role player that the Spurs are very lucky to have. But as I was saying the other day, somebody said that Harrison Barnes looks like he's 37. No, he looks pretty good for 33, actually. It's just that he's sharing that wing with more athletic players than him. I would say Julian Champagne's more athletic. He's 25, if I'm not mistaken, Jules. And then you have the 2 dunk contest back-to-back year competitors out on the wing with you, and Steph Castle and Carter Bryant. De'Aaron Fox is so quick and athletic as well, and Dylan Harper's 19. So, yeah, Harrison Barnes, he's still very valuable, plays good defense. He's a smart player, stretches the floor. He can still finish above the rim, and he's on UNC status for sure, but the Spurs just have such, and this is a shout out to Brian Wright for making such a good, fun, athletic roster, that they have these young guys that don't care that they're young and they're not supposed to be playing as well as they're playing. And yeah, thank you for bringing up Carter Bryant, LG, because he very much was a player that the Spurs missed in game 1, and maybe they win game 1 if he's there. And I'm pretty confident, because while he might have nights where he scores 5 points or less, just his ability to get out and run can put more pressure on defenses. His I need to double check his box score, but his first 2 points and his only 2 points that I really remember from game 2 was this transition dunk where the defense tried to mark him, but he just gets past everybody, and then he elevates and dunks it, and that gets the crowd involved, and it might take the Minnesota crowd out of it a little bit, and it gets the Spurs a little bit more amped. We talk about that being a 2 points that's worth more than 2 points. Carter Bryant provides those kind of sparks and energy for the Spurs. We're, of course, going to talk Spurs a little bit later, but I have to complain. The Lakers have to complain. I got a text message from a Laker fan that was heartbroken. If I were the Lakers, if I were a member of the Lakers, I would have been fined after last night's game, talking about how the officiating happened in Oklahoma City. We got to talk about that a little bit more. And the Knicks want to sign a actor to a contract. Kind of want to talk about that one. It seems a little interesting. I enjoy that story as well. And FIFA, oh my gosh. I hope you have deep pockets if you want premium seats for FIFA. We will tell you the cost and what you get with it on the starting lineup here on a Friday edition. It is finally Friday, and I am not even sure what day of the week it is anymore, but I was so happy that it was Friday when I finally looked at the calendar. Hope everybody's having a good start to their Friday and the weekend almost here wherever you might be. This is the starting lineup on Ticket 760.
Hey guys, this is Jamie from Black Swan Yoga San Antonio, and in honor of Appreciation Week, we are offering free yoga classes for teachers and nurses at Black Swan Yoga all week long till Sunday. This is our small way of saying thank you for the dedication and compassion you bring to our community every day. Just drop by any of our 3 locations, downtown, the Vineyard, or Alamo Ranch with your medical badge or your school ID and enjoy your choice of class. Black Swan Yoga is donation-based, so if you're not a nurse or a teacher, you can still stop in for a pay-what-you-want price or our unlimited monthly memberships at $98 a month. We hope to see you in the studio soon.
Creating content to promote your brand is a 24/7 hustle these days. If you're looking for someone to professionally provide videos, photos, and more, reach out for a free consultation. Hi, I'm Carl Schoening, and I'm more than just the host of the starting lineup. I'm an expert in production work. I offer professional live streaming, podcast recording, photos, videos, social media strategy, and more. To learn more, shoot me an email at carlschoeningmedia@gmail.com or check out my work and shoot me a DM on Instagram at OnAirCarl. That's Carl with a K. Let's level up your content together.
It's time to warm up that scoreboard and get ready to bring home the win with Specs. Specs has you covered with lower prices on all your favorite fan fuel. From craft beer, rare spirits, and world-class wine to chips, dips, and gourmet finer foods. And with same-day delivery when you order online or through the app, Specs is your MVP for the biggest score of the game. At Specs, the fun starts here.
Here's to you, cheers to savings.
Hey Sarah, heard about your car accident. You okay?
Well, let's see. My car's toast, my neck's a pretzel, and the insurance guy ghosted me faster than my ex. So, peachy.
Remind me why you haven't called Thomas J. Henry Law yet?
Calling an attorney is weird to me.
Yeah, you should totally trust insurance who profits from underpaying you.
I'm picking up on your sarcasm.
You need to pick up the phone and dial Thomas J. Henry Law.
Car accident? Visit thomasjhenrylaw.com today. Thomas J. Henry, the name you know, the firm you trust. Principal Office, San Antonio.
If you care about predictions and props, right now, it's all about playoff pressure from the hardwood to the ice. BetOnline has always been the home of real sports wagering deep markets, sharp odds, and player props built for real fans. Basketball playoffs are heating up, stars taking over, series swinging on a single shot. And in hockey, it's all speed, grit, and sudden death moments where one goal changes everything. BetOnline delivers live betting and in-game odds that move with every bucket, every breakaway, every goal. Bet online. Bet on.
Pantalones Organic Tequila. Because tequila is fun. Pantalones.
Are you running for office and have a message you want every voter in your district to hear? Well, that's where radio comes in. Radio is your direct line to morning commuters, midday grinders, and late nighters. Radio puts your message right where your voters are. Plus, it's 1/10 the time and cost of video. Don't just campaign. Connect with millions all over the country. Even thousands in the smallest communities with radio. Call now and be on air in just 48 hours. 844-844-iHeart. That's 844-844-iHeart.
On Plus Nicotine Pouches present Comfort Chronicles. A 10 o'clock tea time. How comfortable. You show up in stretchy shorts, a breathable tee, and maybe no socks.
Let the dogs breathe.
While others sweat in pleated khakis, you're in your comfort zone bombing drive. And in your pocket, On Plus Nicotine Pouches. The softest pouch on the planet. Buy a can at onnicotine.com. Products for tobacco consumers 21 years of age or older. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Hey, San Antonio sports fans. Imagine your business scoring big with thousands of passionate listeners who are already fired up about local sports. Right now, you're one of thousands tuned in to Ticket 760. This is the raw power of live radio. Immediate, loyal, and impossible to scroll past. The starting lineup is looking for sponsors who want direct access to this engaged audience. Sponsors also get professional social media production included. Shoot us an email at thestartinglineupshow@gmail.com. Team up with the starting lineup on Ticket 760.
A win is a win. A win is a win. I don't care what y'all say. Yep, that's me, Clifford Taylor IV. And on my new podcast, The Clifford Show, I'm bringing you raw, unfiltered conversations with your favorite athletes, creators, and media personalities. Each week, we'll talk about sports, life, mental health, purpose, and even music. The Clifford Show is not just a conversation, it's a celebration.
Search The Clifford Show on iHeartRadio, America's #1 podcast network, and the Webby Podcast Company of the Year.
Strong coffee, stronger takes. Back to Carl Schoening in the starting lineup.
This is the starting lineup on Ticket 760 and on YouTube. I'm your host, Carl Schoening. In the starting lineup with me today, LG. You can reach out to me on Twitter and Instagram at OnAirCarl. That is Carl with a K, at OnAir, Karl. You can reach out to LG at DJLG210 on all social media platforms that are reasonable.
Yep.
What are the unreasonable social media platforms that you're not part of, LG?
Blue Sky.
Yeah. Is there a Lemonade? Is that one?
I've never heard of Lemonade.
I'm pretty sure that's a Gen Z thing.
I'm not online.
Are you on TikTok?
I'm not personally on TikTok, but you can follow The Starting Lineup on TikTok at The Starting Lineup.
And you can get involved with the show by watching on YouTube and leaving us a comment and all those kinds of things. There's so many plethora of ways. Eventually, on the iHeart app, we'll start a little bit of a segment per week if we can get people involved to just send us a voicemail. I want to do something, and I want to hear y'all's feedback. So reach out to me what you think. I want to do a hot take of the week, and we will save all of your voicemails. And even if the hot take proves to be cold down the stretch, I still want to play it if it ends up being a hot take on Thursdays. So you have all week to get your hot take of the weekend. Doesn't matter if it ends up being irrelevant by Thursday. Be bold. Go ahead and leave us a voicemail. And then on Fridays, we will play your weekend predictions. I want to get people involved in the show. Give us your weekend predictions. So this way you have a whole week to come up with your weekend predictions and your hot take of the week, things that will run on Thursday and Friday. And I think this is the first time I'm telling you about this, LG. So this is more of a stream of consciousness. But I like those ideas. I want to definitely get more people involved with the show. And
so, let's explain how to do that. If you're on the iHeart Radio app, you can click on the microphone at the top of the app, and then you can send us a voicemail there. You can also jump into the chat. We've got some chats coming in right now.
Oh, yes.
At Starting Lineup Live on YouTube, at Starting Lineup Live on Instagram, on Facebook, and what am I leaving out here? Oh, yeah, we're on Twitter as well. TSL760, the Starting Lineup. TSL760 on Twitter. And Hanover Fist is in here. He says, "What's happening, LG crew?" Well, I guess it's LG crew in here. He says, "Caught y'all earlier this week on the way to the gym. Thanks for listening." And he says, "My guys look sleepy." Yes, it's early in the morning. I quit coffee a little over 6-7 months ago.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I guess I didn't notice.
Yeah.
I'm so in tune with my own caffeine addiction. I didn't notice what you were that you weren't partaking with me.
No. I've had water this morning. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about this. I come here to LG Studios and I wake up at 4 a.m. just so my brain is running for an hour or so, and I get coffee in more or less first thing in the morning. My cat gets fed first, but while my cat is getting fed, the water's boiling, and as soon as I can, I put the water in the cup, and there's this weird thing that happens at 4 a.m., and this is our first week actually waking up and doing the show, where the first 30 minutes of waking up at 4 a.m. go really slow. Like all of a sudden I look at it and it's 4:22 and it feels like it's been an hour, but then the next 40 minutes to when I have to probably leave at around 5:10 to get here at a decent timing goes by super fast. So I don't know what happens to the movement of time in the morning, but I do know, LG, how basketball is supposed to be officiated. And I'm not going to say the refs are the reason the Lakers lost last night, but the refs are the reason that the Lakers lost, and it wasn't even close. The final score last night in Oklahoma City, 125-107. Oklahoma City takes a 2-0 series lead over the Los Angeles Lakers. And I got a text message from a Lakers fan last night overnight, and my buddy was just distraught because that should have been a game where the Lakers at least had a chance to win. And Oklahoma City, it's unethical. It's diabolical. The league needs to step in because there are plays where they are not even getting touched and they are selling the foul. They are foul baiting. JJ Redick shouldn't get fined, but he definitely said, I don't care if I get fined, talking about it last night. Austin Reeves was essentially face-to-face with a ref after the game, along with the rest of the Lakers, saying they took him out of the game. There was a play where DeAndre Ayton was trying to establish position against Chet Holmgren. He goes into his athletic position in the middle of the paint trying to get the ball, and Chet flails back, hits the deck, grabs his chin. You can see on the replay that no part of DeAndre Ayton was even close to ever touching anything near the chin area of Chet Holmgren. He just said, you know what? I see a little contact. I'm going to sell this foul. Refs gave it to him. There was a 4-point play where Jalen Williams from Arkansas, not from Santa Clara, shot a 3, extended his leg. Jake LaRavia avoids both fouling him at the hand and the foot, and Jalen Williams hits the deck. They call the foul on LaRavia. And these are the types of things that don't build trust with the fan base. They are the type of things that when you look at them in the retrospect, the league needs to shut this down in some way or another. And I feel like, look, the Lakers, I don't think they played all that great. Looking at the numbers last night, they turned the ball over 21 times. That became 26 points for the Thunder. The Thunder also grabbed 9 offensive rebounds, which became 17 second chance points. But when you're playing two teams, when you're playing the Thunder and the refs, it's such an uphill battle, especially in Oklahoma City, that you can't expect a close game. And that is just bad business that all of these clips, and not just these clips of the calls that should have been made, are going viral. It's that the actual Lakers are to the point where they are getting into the face of the referees, and it is just it's frustrating as a Spurs fan, because you know that if the Spurs take care of business against Minnesota, they're going to have to deal with this in Oklahoma City. And hopefully it is made such a point of, because LA is a big market and such a huge fan base, and it's going to go viral, that maybe the Lakers, all of the complaining they do, will eventually help the Spurs in that Western Conference Finals. Because if the Spurs have to deal with this, I'll tell you what, I go from picking the Spurs to defeat Oklahoma City as they should to how can you beat Oklahoma City and the refs? It just feels like it's a uphill battle that shouldn't be climbed.
No, yeah. To be fair to the Lakers, I mean, and it got magnified in this game, but this has been going on all season long. I mean, it's been all over social media how much Oklahoma City gets the favored whistle. They flop all the time. Shea is the master actor. He needs to get an Oscar award for how many times he's flopped this season and got the call. I mean, they call him the foul merchant.
Yeah.
And it's not because he draws the foul. It's because he sells the foul.
I saw somebody say that they feel sorry for SGA because he's getting electrocuted every time that a defender gets near him. And that's what it kind of looks like. He's selling any slight contact. And LeBron's whistle last night was easily the worst whistle I've ever seen a superstar given. He had this very clear continuation when the game, I think around the 5-minute mark, they needed this and one and real bad. And it was his textbook continuation as the NBA's ever had. They call it on the floor, and it becomes a meme or a GIF or whatever you want to call it of JJ Redick saying, what is going on here? Like, he puts his hands on his head, looking up at the big board. And I was just so frustrated watching that game last night. Don't really have a dog in the hunt, hoping that the Lakers can make this a 5-game series somehow. But Luka Doncic, it seems like he's in week 5 of an 8-week recovery time. Doesn't seem like he's going to come back in this series. And last night felt like a great opportunity for the Lakers to come away with a victory in Oklahoma City. And I'm not saying the refs cost them that game. They cost them a chance at that game. And when you have such a ridiculous whistle that goes one way and not the other, then yeah, people are going to notice. Every single play is going to be scrutinized, and I hope the NBA steps in and does something about it.
What happened to the flopping call? They just don't call that anymore, do they?
They very rarely do you see a flop. And if there's anybody that deserves multiple flops per game, it's Oklahoma City. And I'm just mad about it. I kind of want to end the segment because I'm going to get frustrated the more I talk about it, because it is the sport that I love, and it's almost like it's almost just disruptive to the legacy of Oklahoma City because they are a good team.
There was a tweet going around earlier this season that showed the referees wearing Shea's shoes.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah.
Like an actual referee was wearing Shea's shoes? Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, I don't want to necessarily say that means too much, but you do see things like that, and it makes you wonder. And
Kevin Durant responded to the tweet, and he was like, "Oh, that explains everything. You get a free pair of shoes for every call."
Yeah. No, that sounds like KD too. KD is a menace on Twitter. It's a lot of fun to see Kevin Durant on social media. But man, tell you what, the rants that I will have on this show if those whistles are going against the Spurs in the Western Conference Finals, you might have to have the dump button ready for me, LG. I don't know if I'll be able to contain myself if what happened to the Lakers last night happens to the Spurs in the Western Conference Finals, because that was just egregious. In fact, Austin Reeves even said, I didn't get teed up when yelling at the ref because he knew that I was right. And it's gotten to that point where if you have an entire team basically confronting the referees, you know you need to do something, NBA. I might need to not talk about that series the rest of the way, because if that's how it's going to go, I might get in trouble, and I don't want to get in trouble, and we don't want to get fined here on this show or this radio station. The Cavaliers, they got to figure things out. They have not won a road game. It continues that trend last night in Detroit. Want to talk about that one. And of course, I still need to tease a little bit about what's going on with the Knicks. They might need to sign somebody with OG Anunoby out with an injury. It's going to be a hamstring strain. Tell you about that and keep you updated on that 76ers Knicks series that's running simultaneously and will be the first game tonight in the NBA doubleheader. Talk about all that and the world of sports here on the starting lineup on Ticket 760.
On May 8, 2014, the Spurs rolled past the Portland Trail Blazers 114-97 at the Frost Bank Center, take a 2-0 lead in their best-of-7 Western Conference Semifinals. Kawhi Leonard scored 20 points while Tony Parker added 16 points and 10 assists in the win. Manu Ginobili had 16 points. Marco Bellinelli added 13 as the Spurs bench outscored the Blazers reserves 50-19. Spurs improved to 9-0 all-time at home in the playoffs against Portland. That's today's Spurs Flashback. I'm Dan Weiss.
Don Toliver presents Octane Tour. Live in San Antonio. Performing at Frost Bank Center June 14th. With special guests Saw Baby, Sofago, and Chase B. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. Don Toliver. The brand new album Octane is available everywhere now. For more, visit DonToliver.com.
If you're not digging the content you created on your phone, maybe it's time to upgrade to a content specialist who can make your video sharp and your audio clear. Hi, I'm Carl Schoening, and I'm more than just the host of The Starting Lineup. I'm an expert in production work. I offer social media content creation to help your brand grow online using professional photo, video, and audio equipment. To learn more, shoot me an email at carlschoningmedia@gmail.com or check out my work and shoot me a DM on Instagram at OnAirCarl. That's Carl with a K. Let's level up your content together. Right now, you're one of thousands tuned into this station. Locked in, fired up, and ready to talk Spurs, Cowboys, and everything in between. That's the unbeatable power of live radio. It reaches you instantly, and you can't scroll past it. Plus, we're streaming and growing on social media. The starting lineup is looking for sponsors who want direct access to this passionate audience. And when you join us, you get professional social media production included, content created for your business. Shoot us an email right now at thestartinglineupshow@gmail.com. Team up with the starting lineup on Ticket 760.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a best man speech, but getting one from some random +1.
I can't believe I'm standing here today. Seriously, why am I standing here?
Don't settle for just any insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
In this edition of the Marketer's Report, Chris Epple, head of marketing for the Americas, Harman JBL, weighs in on the importance of audio.
It's been amazing over the last couple of years to see what's happened with audio. We've doubled our investment in the last 2 years in the audio space. We find it to be highly critical to our business.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia connects marketers to the audiences, live conversations, and trusted influencers you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartAdvertising.com.
iHeartRadio is sending you to see Guns N' Roses live on their World Tour 2026. We'll handle everything, including the You're So Fine VIP lounge package. Just tap the contest tab when you're listening to us on the free iHeartRadio app to enter. Tickets at livenation.com.
This deer season, John Deere wants to give you the home field advantage. We're bringing you the best offers of the season, whether that's cash off on select new machines or a shot at the ultimate Major League Baseball prize package. Because right now, you can enter for a chance to win an MLB All-Star experience for you and 3 friends, complete with travel and lodging for All-Star Week this July. Deer season is going on now through June 3rd. Visit johndeere.com/deer season to enter and view the offers and complete contest rules. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
This is the highlight of my morning. Hey, what's up? It's Island.
And I'm Josh.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Bacon, Egg, and Cheese Biscuit is that it's our go-to morning comfort.
And you've got that nice golden fluffy egg.
With a soft, flaky biscuit.
Crispy bacon.
Melty cheese.
You want something quick, you want something convenient, but most of all, you want something good.
There's no better way to start your morning.
There we go.
Start off the morning with a Chick-fil-A Bacon, Egg, and Cheese Biscuit with Simply Orange Juice. Order on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Hi there, I'm John O'Hurley. You know, our pets are beloved family members. But sadly, though, there are so many dogs that get euthanized every day due to the lack of funding. To give them a chance at adoption, I invite you to support Puppy Food Bank. Thanks to generous donors like you, all of the food sent to pet shelters from Puppy Food Bank never comes with a bill. So please go to puppyfoodbank.org and make a generous, caring $15 donation every month. Your donation will absolutely save pet lives.
Black Swan Yoga is a donation-based yoga studio with 3 locations in San Antonio. There's no pressure for a membership of any kind. Just drop in when you can, pay what you can, come as you are, and give yoga a shot. Classes start at 6 a.m. and go until 8:30 p.m. on weekdays with varieties such as hot and room temperature classes, beginner, chill, power, and all-level flow classes. I'm almost there every day, and it's a great way to relax or get a good workout in. Give yoga a shot at Black Swan Yoga San Antonio.
The takes are hot, even before the sun comes out. Back to the starting lineup.
Starting lineup on Ticket 760. I'm your host, Carl Schoening. LG in the starting lineup with me today. Happy you guys starting your Friday with us here. Whether it's the good old power of terrestrial radio, the iHeart app, or on YouTube. And LG, we got a comment on YouTube?
Yeah, we got one comment on here. Jeremy210 Texas is up in here on the YouTube channel, and he says, "Go Spurs, go!
Go Spurs, go! Go Spurs, go!" Yes, tonight big game, 8:30 tip off, probably 8:42 tip off between the Spurs and the Minnesota Timberwolves. For those of you that don't know, 8:30 is the start of the national anthem. So whenever you see a start time in the NBA, that's when the national anthem plays, and then it starts to proceed the starting lineups, and then there's depending on whether it's a national televised game or not, which all the playoffs are technically quote-unquote nationally televised, then usually it's 8:42, and then sometimes there's a 5-minute slide. So we had a 5-minute slide. We didn't get started until about 8:47.
Yeah, and ESPN still cut off the first 2 minutes of the game there. because the previous game, the Knicks and the Sixers, went even longer than that 5-minute slide.
And you need to, when things like that happen, check out to see if the start of the broadcast is going to be on ESPN2.
It was.
Yeah.
But if you're somebody who DVRs the game, aka records the game, it was set to record ESPN, not ESPN2. So when I came home to watch the game, I missed Wemby's opening dunk.
No, that does suck. That is annoying, and that's how that goes. And kudos to you. I guess you're so focused on your job that you don't necessarily get to watch the game as closely as someone like me, who I can just my job is to pay attention to the game. Your job is to be interesting for the Jumbotron.
I get lost in the game. Yeah. I get lost in my assignments, and I'm shooting through a lens. And when they're on that side of the court there, which is I'd say it's the west baseline underneath the HEB fan zone, I'm kind of behind the backboard, so I can't really see what's going on the court right there. I just have a view of the backboard. So I'm watching the game through that piece of glass right there. So it's a little hard to see what's going on that side of the court. And then I really get lost on the score. I have to look around and see the score, and I'm working.
Yeah.
I don't get to enjoy.
Yeah, your job is to look at the game through a different lens, literally, because
that's true.
Yeah, you do not get to actually focus in on the details like I do. You have to focus on details.
I get to see all the bench reactions, because every time a shot goes up, I have to go straight to the bench.
You're that guy.
Yeah, I'm that guy. I go straight to the bench, whether the shot goes in or not, because I have to be ready and have the bench framed up. So a three-pointer goes up, and I'm already zoomed in on the bench before the shot goes into the basket or bounces off the rim.
Oh, but we appreciate that guy so much, because remember Patty Mills had the towel? Yeah, you got to have those shots.
Kelly Olynyk had some great reactions in the last game.
Yeah, and I want to say Kelly even stood up to the refs for the Spurs.
He's been asking for explanations for a bunch of no calls.
Yeah. I like Kelly. I think that he's the sort of vet that you had, and I get that this is the NBA where wings sort of prioritize your backup rotation big men, but I thought that Kelly would play a lot more, but he still provides some very good veteran leadership. There's a reason he's still on the roster. Last night in Detroit, the Pistons took a 2-0 series lead over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cavaliers once again get off to a very slow start, only 18 points in the first quarter, 25 in the second. They barely crack that 40-point mark. They do have a much better second half, starting off with 32 points in the third quarter to cut into the lead by 7. But the Pistons, they found their second scorer in Duncan Robinson, and they found their second scorer in Tobias Harris, which means that they have a second and a third scorer to go around Cade Cunningham. Cunningham drops 12 points in the fourth quarter, finishes the game with 25 points, 10 assists, and a steal with 2 blocks. Cade Cunningham, MVP candidate that is recovering from that collapsed lung, playing great. But really, Tobias Harris and Duncan Robinson continue to be the two guys where we were talking all season about the Pistons trying to find the one guy that'll be the person behind Cade Cunningham in terms of being a scorer. Both of them super efficient from behind the three-point line. Tobias Harris, 2 of 3. Duncan Robinson, 5 of 9. Harris finishes with 21 points. He went to work in the post as he took advantage of any of his matchups, especially against James Harden. And Duncan Robinson, 6 of 12 from the field, 17 points overall. I think that he has become that sharpshooter floor spacer. Watching the Pistons really made me realize, especially with Asura Thompson out there who doesn't even take threes, he did not shoot one in that game, how the Spurs really are well constructed to have so many shooters all around. Ron Holland II, he's also not a three-point shooter, only put up 2. He's the backup wing. Karis LeVert does have a solid game, comes up with 2 3-pointers, and Dennis Jenkins has been a revelation for them as a two-way contract player that has now become their backup point guard, played great when Cade Cunningham was there. Pistons winning is the big story. The sub-story that you're going to see all over social media is James Harden getting called out. He didn't have a great first game, but he salvaged a not-so-great game by having a decent enough stat line with 22 points. There is no way that somebody who is a future Hall of Famer like James Harden is going to be able to get a pass for 37 minutes, only scoring 10 points, 3 of 13 from the field, 0 of 4 from 3, and had 4 turnovers. James Harden is just disappointing. They went out and got him thinking that he could be the piece that gets them over the hump. They trade Darius Garland for him, and James Harden is just disappointing in the playoffs once again. Do have to give Donovan Mitchell a shout out. He did everything he could with 31 points, and Jarrett Allen bounced back from being bullied in the first game by Jalen Duren to have 22 points in 31 minutes. Make things interesting, but yeah, if James Harden isn't cooking, Donovan Mitchell's job gets a lot harder. And as a team, the Cavaliers went 7 of 32 from 3 for 22% shooting. If you do that in a playoff game, you will lose. On the other side, the Pistons, they knock down 14 of 28 and make 50% of their shots. That's how you win in the playoffs. And that's probably a trend in this put up a ton of threes anytime you have a decent look era of the NBA. If you shoot 25% or better from 3 on a decent volume, you're going to beat your opponent. And the Pistons, congratulations to them going up 2-0. And the Cavaliers, hey, they will be playing their 10th game, Game 3, which will be, I suppose, tomorrow in Cleveland. They have yet to win a road game, yet they have also yet to lose a home game. That's how the series against the Raptors went. They didn't win any games in Toronto. They won all their games in Cleveland. So now it continues. They've lost both games in Detroit. Cavaliers must win both games in Cleveland to have a chance and have a big Game 5 to try and win their first road game against the Pistons. Otherwise, this is looking like a 5-game series, and the Pistons, all they really need to do is go into Cleveland, split one, and they should feel pretty confident going back into Little Caesars Arena, which I have to always remember not to call Little Caesars Palace, LG, because the previous place was the Palace at Auburn Hills, and the Pistons play at Little Caesars Arena. It's a beautiful arena. It looks nice. Just like we talked about with Minnesota, I have to have a good reason to go to Detroit. I'm not necessarily interested in going to Detroit unless maybe it's the NBA Finals or something along those lines. That'd be probably the main reason I would go to Detroit. Can't think of any other reason. Can you? Motor City?
Maybe to see some of the auto museums and stuff like that. The classic cars like Ford Museum and whatnot.
I can do that on Google.
It's not the same.
I guess it's not the same, but
you can travel. You can travel to Hawaii on Google. It's not the same.
No. Seeing classic cars on YouTube and Google, it seems
it's
like
more than just classic cars.
Yeah,
it's the history, it's the factories, and that's Motor City for a reason. There's a reason to go to Detroit. More reasons to go to Detroit than Minnesota, in my opinion.
That's probably fair. I don't think I can name too many off the top of my head, but hopefully the NBA Finals is one of them. And hopefully if that happens, we can get a sponsor to fly us out there. And, I actually need to apply for my finals credentials because everything through the finals goes through the NBA, and that deadline is coming up in about 10 days. So I better not get complacent on that because I think the Spurs can make the finals. Talk about that a little bit later. The Knicks have OG Anunoby questionable, so they offered a contract to an actor. I want to talk about that on the other side here on the starting lineup as we wrap up hour 1 on this Friday edition of the show. Hope everybody's Friday's off to a good start. We'll be right back here on Ticket 760.
Hey, San Antonio sports fans, imagine your business scoring big with thousands of passionate listeners who are already fired up about local sports. Right now, you're one of thousands tuned in to Ticket 760. This is the raw power of live radio, immediate, loyal, and impossible to scroll past. The starting lineup is looking for sponsors who want direct access to this engaged audience. Sponsors also get professional social media production included. Shoot us an email at thestartinglineupshow@gmail.com. Team up with the starting lineup on on Ticket 760. If you're looking for a new way to burn calories, get some simple movement in, or just relax, I have to tell you about Black Swan Yoga San Antonio. There are 3 Black Swan Yoga studios in San Antonio at Downtown, the Vineyard, and newly opened in Alamo Ranch. Try their fire and ice for a quick workout followed by a relaxing stretch, or get a combination of cardio and strength training in their new Swan Sculpt classes. Black Swan Yoga is a donation-based studio, so no need to sign a membership or pay an expensive drop-in fee. Just swing by and give yoga a try.
Before they can cheer your name, you've got to make one. At Spurs Sports Academy, we're helping young athletes do just that with year-round basketball camps and tournaments for kids of all ages. It's all part of our mission of inspiring lifelong memories and building character through competition. To find your way to play, text HOOPS to 210-444-5021 or head over to spurs.com/sportsacademy.
Got wrecked? Got a pain in your neck? Thomas J. Henry is your next call. Thomas J. Henry has put over $1 billion in our clients' pockets in just 4 years. And we can help you too. Just look at our over 14,000 5-star reviews. The numbers and our clients speak for themselves. So if you've been in a car accident, visit thomasjhenrylaw.com today. Thomas J. Henry, the name you know, the firm you trust. Principal office in San Antonio.
On Plus Nicotine Pouches present Comfort Chronicles. A 10 o'clock tea time. How comfortable. You show up in stretchy shorts, a breathable tee, and maybe no socks.
Let the dogs breathe.
While others sweat in pleated khakis, you're in your comfort zone bombing drives. And in your pocket, On Plus Nicotine Pouches. The softest pouch on the planet. Buy a can at onnicotine.com. Products for tobacco consumers 21 years of age or older. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds too. Get a quote right now at 800-200-1966, 800-200-1966, or biglou.com.
For more information about contests on this station, go to ticket760.com/rules.
Lighting has a bigger impact on your home than you might think. I'm George Salinas with Absolute Power Electrical Contractors. From sleek recessed lighting to modern LED upgrades, we transform your home's interior into something brighter, safer, and more energy efficient. We install lighting that fits how you live today. Call 210-904-1521 or visit absolute-pwr.com to schedule your free estimate. Absolute Power Electrical Contractors, at your service.
Creating content to promote your brand is a 24/7 hustle these days. If you're looking for someone to professionally provide videos, photos, and more, reach out for a free consultation. Hi, I'm Carl Schoening, and I'm more than just the host of The Starting Lineup. I'm an expert in production work. I offer professional live streaming, podcast recording, photos, videos, social media strategy, and more. To learn more, shoot me an email at carlschoeningmedia@gmail.com or check out my work and shoot me a DM on Instagram at OnAirCarl. That's Carl with a K. Let's level up your content together.
Silver and black and no excuses. Start your day with a starting lineup.
We hope your Friday is off to a good start here. This is Carl Schoening on the starting lineup. Starting with me today, LG, making sure we sound good over the radio, look good on YouTube. We got a new subscriber. You told me Michael Jordan followed us?
Yeah, Michael Jordan actually just subscribed on YouTube. You can subscribe to the thing as well on YouTube at Starting Lineup Live.
So the game that precedes the Spurs and the Timberwolves tonight is the Knicks 76ers. They're the ones that have been matched up with the Spurs as we play every other day here in the second round. And the Knicks have a 2-0 lead. They took both games in Madison Square Garden. The series shifts to Philadelphia. Joel Embiid is questionable. He missed game 2. OG Anunoby is questionable. He strained his hamstring. Probably would rest otherwise, but it is a big game for the Knicks to try and go up 3-0 and take the life out of Philadelphia. If I had to guess, OG doesn't play. Embiid does play. Philadelphia, that game starts off at 6 o'clock in Philly. They need to win this game to continue this series, but the Knicks are playing just as well as anybody in the NBA right now. I get the feeling without OG, you do miss a lot. So the 76ers' best chance to get back into the series is tonight. And online, are you familiar, LG, with the actor Timothy Chalamet? Is that how you say it? Chalamet?
Chalamet?
Chalamet? Is that
yeah, I'm familiar.
Oh, okay. You're how do you get that? Is that how you say his name? Chalamet?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Chalamet.
He spells his name Tim-O-Thee and with E with an accent mark over that. So Timothy, am I?
I think it's Timothy. Yeah.
So he's in New York. He gained points with me because apparently the Met Gala, the big fancy thing that makes us all think we're in the Hunger Games, happened. He's dating Kylie Jenner. So obviously he has a +1 if he wants to go.
Yeah, that's a -1 if you ask me.
Well, I mean, I'm not turning down Kylie Jenner. If she's a billionaire and beautiful and all that kind of stuff. But they sit courtside at Knicks games all the time.
If you're marrying for the money, yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah, but anyhow, he's there at Madison Square Garden all the time. He posted a clip of him knocking down a 3-pointer that was contested, just messing around. Anthony Edwards joined on the comments, said, yeah, Killa in there. And the Knicks said, we just sent you a 10-day contract. Check your DMs. So that's quite the compliment there. They're not going to obviously send him a 10-day contract. Playoff rosters are set, but a fun story there, as I do think that he earned some bonus points. And also, I need to figure out if he was the one who brought, he's the guy from Marty Supreme, is the show where George Gervin was in the show. So I do want to see that movie just because of George Gervin, not because I like ping pong. All right, we're going to talk Spurs when we come back. It's a Spurs day, and it's a Friday here on Ticket 760. Right now, you're one of thousands tuned into this station. Locked in, fired up, and ready to talk Spurs, Cowboys, and everything in between. That's the unbeatable power of live radio. It reaches you instantly, and you can't scroll past it. Plus, we're streaming and growing on social media. The starting lineup is looking for sponsors who want direct access to this passionate audience. And when you join us, you get professional social media production included. Content created for your business. Shoot us an email right now at thestartinglineupshow@gmail.com. Team up with the starting lineup on Ticket 760. If you love yoga and want to join a welcoming community in San Antonio of fellow yogis, you should check out Black Swan Yoga San Antonio. I'm Carl Schoening, and practicing yoga is a daily must for me, and if you're into yoga like I am, then you'll love Black Swan Yoga San Antonio. Some days I want to get a workout in with their power classes, and some days I relax by taking their chill classes. Classes start weekdays at 6 a.m. and go until 8:30 p.m. Follow them on Instagram at Black Swan Yoga San Antonio to get their daily class schedule.
Summer weather on its way. It's going to be super hot. How's your AC system? You can call Manuel & Sons today and get a 1.5 to 5-ton Frederick 15 SEER for just $77.95. A spring tune-up, $89. Call them at 549-4839, manuelandsons.com.
How was your break?
It was great until I stopped for gas. Prices have gone up almost $1 with no end in sight. I might have to start watching how much I drive.
That's exactly why I use Upside. I never pay full price for gas with the free Upside app.
Upside?
Yes, Upside. It's the free app that gives you cash back just for buying the gas you're already buying. So, even with the rising gas prices, I'll never have to limit how much I drive.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Just last year, I made over $200 with the Upside app.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app right now.
Download the free Upside app to earn cash back on the gas you're already buying. Use promo code FUTURE25 for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FUTURE25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first fill-up. That's FUTURE25.
Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
If you're not digging the content you created on your phone, maybe it's time to upgrade to a content specialist who can make your video sharp and your audio clear. Hi, I'm Carl Schoening, and I'm more than just the host of The Starting Lineup. I'm an expert in production work. I offer social media content creation to help your brand grow online using professional photo, video, and audio equipment. To learn more, shoot me an email at carlschoeningmedia@gmail.com or check out my work and shoot me a DM on Instagram at OnAirCarl. That's Carl with a K. Let's level up your content together.
This is Ticket 760, KTKR San Antonio, your home for sports. Guaranteed human from the Window Nation Studios. This is The Starting Lineup. Here's your host, Carl Schoening.
Hour 2 of The Starting Lineup on Ticket 760. I'm Carl Schoening, starting as your host and the voice coming through your speakers. Starting at our audio technician this morning, LG in the other room here at LG Studios. You can get in touch with the show by reaching out to us on Twitter. I am at OnAirCarl. That is Carl with a K, at OnAirKarl. He is at DJLG210 on all platforms, whether it's Instagram or Twitter. We love to hear from you. We also are live on YouTube. LG making sure we look good as well, keeping up with the comments on the side of the stream. And, you know, LG, it's a Spurs day, and we were talking about it in the first hour, and I was thinking about it a little bit more. What did I not say? Because it's easy to repeat yourself on the radio, and I want to appreciate all the people that listen to both this hour and the last hour. One thing that I really wanted to say that I thought that the Spurs did in Game 2 that is repeatable the rest of the series is they waited for Rudy Gobert to commit. And once he committed, they were able to get easy shots, and that's going to be something to keep an eye on tonight. And I think the Spurs take this game. We jump right into Spurs talk, obviously. It's an 8:30 tip-off. I'll be out at the Rocket La Cantera with Dylan Emery for Spurs Radio. Dan Weiss will have the call from the Target Center at 8:30. But, LG, I think that that's really the thing here is you look at the healthiest player that is a star rotation player for the Timberwolves, and that's Rudy Gobert. And how do you eliminate Rudy Gobert? In Game 1, they tried to take him away from the rim by having Wemby play as a floor spacer. Didn't really work out too great for the Spurs in terms of Wemby knocking down threes, but it did sort of take Gobert out of the game. So when you decide in Game 2 that Wemby's going to be a bit more involved interior, now you bring Rudy a little closer to the rim, and the Spurs were waiting for Gobert to commit before they really made their official, like, what are you going to do with the ball move? And that really worked out well for them in Game 2. And overall, the Spurs just put a beating down on the Timberwolves. We were talking about it in the first hour. This part's worth repeating. Does Minnesota just throw out that game, look at a few handful of things and realize we might have been down 47 points, but we know that we're playing with house money after winning the first game, and it wasn't that big of a deal that if we were the Timberwolves, they lost that second game? Or do the Timberwolves just really not have any momentum because the Spurs show that, hey, missed final buzzer beater away from beating the Timberwolves in the first game, and then they absolutely blow them out in the second game? This could very easily be on the verge of a sweep heading back into Minnesota. Instead, there will be a Game 5 and the first of 2 in Minnesota tonight. I think the big thing to keep an eye on is, can Anthony Edwards look more like he did in Game 1 than he did in Game 2? Probably not, is my guess. The fact that Anthony Edwards played in both of those games in San Antonio was something that was not expected. If you were keeping up with the discourse around his injury that he suffered in this game, in the series against the Denver Nuggets, it seemed like he might be coming back Game 3. So it was a big deal, and a lot of medical staff members for the Timberwolves were both on record on Anthony Edwards' personal YouTube page and off record somewhere on the Twitter sphere saying that he is a freak of nature, essentially, which a lot of these guys are at the NBA level, but they were really surprised that Ant came back and played in games 1 and 2. And that was the only reason that they won the first game, because Anthony Edwards goes off in the fourth quarter as part of his 18 points in 25 minutes. And then in the second game, the Spurs just shut Anthony Edwards out of the game. And that's something that's repeatable. They say anybody but Ant at this point. So if it's not going to be Ant-Man, then I guess Timberwolves are relying on Terrence Shannon Jr., who is kind of playing well in starts. Ayo Dosunmu didn't play in game 1. He does play in game 2, doesn't really make an impact. Julius Randle had a pretty good game 1. It was not effective in game 2. The Spurs adjustments feel like they are the more talented team, and they figured out how to beat the Timberwolves in that second game. Now it's up to the Timberwolves to figure out if they can make any adjustments. Big thing there is they don't have Dante DiVincenzo, their starting 2-guard. He is out for the rest of the season with a ruptured Achilles tendon. Ayo Dosunmu and Anthony Edwards are both questionable, and it almost makes me wonder if would it be worth it to the Timberwolves if Ant is really questionable, probably shouldn't play game 3, you rest him game 3 so he's fresh for game 4? Or do you try and continue with this playing with house money, if you will, and go all out in game 3? And if you lose it, you lose it, but you try and get Anthony Edwards and Ayo Dosunmu out there and play and try to win game 3, or you rest them and see if you can really have a well-rested Anthony Edwards for game 4. Because the way this series schedule is set up is we're going to be playing every other day. So game tonight, off on Saturday. Game Sunday will be game 4. So no, the Spurs don't get any San Antonio weekend games this series, as game 5 will be Tuesday. And ideally, I think you and I were talking about this, LG. You were looking ahead. Game 6 would be a Thursday in Minnesota, and that's an if necessary at the moment. And that means the first Spurs playoff game in this series potentially would be game 7. I guess that's nice enough silver lining. Hopefully the Spurs don't need it. Saturday, I'm not going to try and say I know what date that is. Is that the 17th? Something like that. So the Spurs would obviously prefer to not have to go back up to Minnesota.
Sunday.
It would be Sunday?
It'd be a Sunday, yeah.
Okay, so that's actually the only time there would be 2 back-to-back days then, huh? Or
yeah,
2 days off
2
if
days
there was a
of
game
rest.
7?
Yes, exactly.
So that is actually somewhat in favor of Minnesota. I don't think this is going 7. I said this on Spurs Post Up, the post-game show on WAI with Dylan Emery. I think the Spurs sweep the back end of this. I think they lose game 1, wake-up call, San Antonio blows out game 2. I imagine the 2 games in Minnesota will be closer. As I said earlier, the Spurs have lost their last 7 games in Minnesota. Last one, you have to go back to October of 2022, which means pretty much this entire roster was not here. Just Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson when they weren't really even who they are today. So that's not too big of a deal to me. I get that that's sort of a daunting statistic that San Antonio hasn't won in Minnesota. Exercise whatever demons those might be, but it's just it's the playoffs. Throw out anything happened in the regular season and see what happens tonight in game 3. What do you think, LG?
I think I'm glad you mentioned Keldon Johnson. Vassell had a breakout game last game, made that crazy 3-pointer where he was already in the air on the pass, and everyone's calling it a no-dip 3-point shot. And there's an anime that everyone's been comparing it to. I guess there's some basketball anime where the guy is known for jumping in the air and catching a pass and making a shot midair. So Devin Vassell came out. But Keldon Johnson, here's a guy who got the 6th man of the year before the end of the season, and he has struggled these playoffs. He's yet to have a breakout game. He's averaging, I believe, almost 20 points a game off the bench. He scored 9 last game, barely did anything in the Portland Trailblazers series. So I'm looking for Keldon Johnson to have a breakout game at some point during this series.
I think that it comes tonight because, Keldon is probably just as hard on himself as anybody. And we talked about a Spurs strength being that it doesn't necessarily have to be Victor Wembanyama and De'Aaron Fox. And that maybe was to their detriment in game one because the Spurs let those two sort of be backseat to the rest of the featured offense. And then game two, the Spurs featured them in the offense and it really helped. Keldon, I think Julius Randle is a bit of a tough matchup for him, and that seems to be who he goes after. And Randle's just about the same kind of player, but more physical in terms of their physical attributes, and it makes Keldon a little bit, I guess, tougher to do what he does because they both play inside. Keldon went 2 of 8 in that first game. He still had 9 points. He still got to the free throw line. Let me just make sure I'm reading this right. 5 of 8.
He brought down 10 rebounds as well. And if you're someone who believes in the plus minus stat, he had the best plus 28. He led the Spurs in plus minus stats in game 2.
There's a certain energy that goes beyond the stat sheet with Keldon Johnson. Appreciate you bringing him up because Keldon, or at least expanding on that, because Keldon, I think he missed 3 or 4 bunnies in that game. Very easy layups.
He did.
And that was like a weird little thing where I was talking about it with the Spurs statistician Walter Stoops. It's like the Spurs were, I don't know how much they were up by, but they had missed 5 or 6 easy shots, so they could have easily been up by another 10 points.
Could have been a 50-point game.
Yeah, they very much was the Spurs could have just destroyed the Timberwolves. 50% shooting overall, 45 of 90 in that game 2 were the Spurs. 15 of 39 from behind the three-point line for 41% shooting from deep. And included in those was that crazy Devin Vassell shot. And also Julian Champagnie made all 4 of his three-pointers in the third quarter for all 12 of his points.
Would you call that an alley-oop three-pointer?
I don't know what you would call that, but you kind of they're calling it no dip 3 is what they say
I guess so.
On the Twitter sphere, and that sort of makes sense. An alley-oop three-pointer. For those of you that didn't see it, it was the end of the shot clock, and as Vassell is catching the pass, he had already left the floor, and he goes into his shooting motion. It's funny to see that in replay because I saw it live in person and I knew something was off a little bit about it when he caught the ball, and then you see the replay and it's just a wild shot.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. Ever.
If I've seen it before, I don't think I've ever seen it go in.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've never seen it, and I've never seen it from 3-point.
Yeah, it's quite the interesting play there. But yeah, Vassell and Keldon Johnson are 2 wings that are X-Factor players. We also brought up in the first hour Carter Bryant, and I do have the stats in front of me this time. Carter did only finish with 2 points on that one dunk. He missed both of his 3-point shots, but Carter still has to be respected out there at the 3-point range, and his athleticism on that dunk that he got in transition was just chef's kiss. I need to say that having somebody like Carter Bryant with the 14th overall pick makes you realize why the Spurs were not interested in making any Kevin Durant trade over the summer. They knew that they were going to be able to draft a good player at 14. I thought Carter Bryant was a lock for a top 10 pick, but he falls to the Spurs at 14, and it makes Brian Wright look even better. Not that KD wouldn't have made this a very formidable Spurs team, but you talk about Dylan Harper, who the Suns wanted that number 2 overall pick. The Spurs were like, no way. And then I guess, according to reports, the Suns wanted one of the lottery picks if they were going to make a move with the Spurs. And San Antonio was like, I think we're good. The price wasn't where the Spurs could outbid the Rockets, and I think that was the right decision because you look at this young core. Oh my goodness, LJ, pull up the roster with the ages for me. I go to Basketball Reference; they'll have them, I think. But under 25, the Spurs roster, just by looking at it, 25 and younger. Julian Champagnie, Victor Wembanyama, Devin Vassell, Steph Castle, Keldon Johnson's 26, if I'm not mistaken, Carter Bryant. It is such a Dylan Harper. It is such a loaded team of 25 and younger players that this Spurs team, I just don't see how they aren't contending for the next 5-10 years.
Devin Vassell's 25.
Yeah, I think he's 25 in like 240-something days.
Yep.
I think he turns 26 in August, so he'll turn
And
26
Keldon is
next year.
26. He seems a lot older than that because he's been on the Spurs for so long, but 26 for Keldon. He's a young man.
Yeah, these one-and-done players, it's like one of those things where when are they finally going to turn 30 seems to have been the trend. Even Kevin Durant's 37, but he's been involved in our lives since 2006 when he was a freshman at the University of Texas. So it is fun keeping up with the world of basketball, and the Spurs have such a fun young core. They look to win Game 3 and take their first lead of the series tonight. It is an 8:30 tip-off. I'll be on the radio call with Dan Weiss. Spurs radio game night gets started on WOAI at 8 o'clock, live from the Frost Plaza at La Cantera, at the Rocket La Cantera, I should say. Spurs Countdown with Dylan Emery starts on WAI at 7:30. And then Dan Weiss will have your call. Sometime after 8:30 will be the tip-off. Spurs and Timberwolves at the Target Center in Minneapolis tonight. For those of you that aren't aware, and this is probably a good reminder, it's Mother's Day this weekend. And, if you have an opportunity to do something with your mom, I think you might be like me and need some last-minute recommendations. We want to hear from you if you have any. We'll talk a little bit about that. We have other sports lined up for you, as last night the Lakers should totally send Adam Silver an email with all of the terrible calls and the flopping that the Oklahoma City Thunder did, and a lot more in the world of sports when we come back here on the Starting Lineup on Ticket 760.
Creating content to promote your brand is a 24/7 hustle these days. If you're looking for someone to professionally provide videos, photos, and more, reach out for a free consultation. Hi, I'm Carl Schoening, and I'm more than just the host of the Starting Lineup. I'm an expert in production work. I offer professional live streaming, podcast recording, photos, videos, social media strategy, and more. To learn more, shoot me an email at carlschoeningmedia@gmail.com or check out my work and shoot me a DM on Instagram at OnAirCarl. That's Carl with a K. Let's level up your content together.
It's time to warm up that scoreboard and get ready to bring home the win with Specs. Specs has you covered with lower prices on all your favorite fan fuel. From craft beer, rare spirits, and world-class wine to chips, dips, and gourmet finer foods. And with same-day delivery when you order online or through the app, Specs is your MVP for the biggest score of the game. At Specs, the fun starts here.
Here's to you. Cheers to savings.
On Plus Nicotine Pouches present Comfort Chronicles. A 10 o'clock tea time. How comfortable. You show up in stretchy shorts, a breathable tee, and maybe no socks.
Let the dogs breathe.
While others sweat in pleated khakis, you're in your comfort zone bombing drives. And in your pocket, On Plus Nicotine Pouches. The softest pouch on the planet. Buy a can at onnicotine.com. Products for tobacco consumers 21 years of age or older. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Pantalones Organic Tequila. Because tequila is fun. Pantalones.
Proud to make Pops proud. Proud to be Proud Pops.
I'm Brandon Rackler, co-founder of Proud Pops Plumbing, Air, and Electric.
And I'm Jacob Magby, the other co-founder and also co-brother.
With air conditioning season here already, homeowners are wondering if that old AC that barely made it through last summer is ready to handle this summer.
But no one wants to buy a new AC if the old one can be fixed up. Good as new.
As Pops used to say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
To be fair, quite a lot of people say that.
Yeah, but when Pops said it, he meant don't pressure people into an expensive replacement when the AC they have still has a few good years left in the hands of the right serviceman.
Call Proud Pops and we'll assess the situation and give you a Pops proof report with a plethora of pictures that clearly show what needs to be done.
As Pops used to say, a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Literally everyone says a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Proud to make Pops proud. Proud to be Proud Pops.
Give us a call and we'll pop in.
Visit proudpops.com.
What does it mean to work with one of the largest personal injury law firms in Texas? At Thomas J. Henry, it means we can put our team of experts to work for you. Visit thomasjhenrylaw.com. The name you know, the firm you trust. Principal Office, San Antonio.
With iHeart, everything you hear is guaranteed human. That's why 78% of listeners trust their favorite radio host's product recommendations. If you manage a business or need to drive sales, that trust goes a long way. Call 844-844-iHeart. Again, that's 844-844-iHeart.
Hey, San Antonio sports fans, imagine your business scoring big with thousands of passionate listeners who are already fired up about local sports. Right now, you're one of thousands tuned in to Ticket 760. This is the raw power of live radio, immediate, loyal, and impossible to scroll past. The starting lineup is looking for sponsors who want direct access to this engaged audience. Sponsors also get professional social media production included. Shoot us an email at thestartinglineupshow@gmail.com. Team up with the starting lineup on Ticket 760.
Charlie XCX has a brand new song. And it's on the newly released playlist on the free iHeartRadio app. Your no-cost destination to hear all of the songs that were just released, including Kenny Chesney, Carry On, The Rolling Stones, Khalid and Lauv, Farruko, and so much more. Open the free iHeartRadio app and search New to listen now.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 original stations waiting for you to explore right now, like Coffee Shop Radio, it's true, my bad habits lead to you, acoustic rock, and the greatest singer-songwriters of the 90s to now. All night, come on, dance with me. I'm levitating. And Coffee Shop Radio goes commercial-free every weekend. We're going down. Open the free iHeartRadio app, search Coffee Shop Radio, and listen now. iHeartRadio. Free never sounded so good.
Your home for Spurs talk. This is the starting lineup with Carl Shoney.
Yes, sir, it is the starting lineup on Ticket 760. We love talking Spurs, and we talk a lot of Spurs on here, LG, and that's because we're based in San Antonio. And one of the things that's happening this weekend is Mother's Day. You know, if you're fortunate enough to be able to do something with your mom, I hope you have plans already and set. Reservations need to be made so you don't show up and, you know, you have an hour-long wait. But, LG, I think you told me you have a date set up with your mom. You don't know where you're going yet.
Yeah, I need to make reservations, and I need suggestions. I'm not sure where to go. I'm thinking maybe a Brazilian steakhouse.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
It's a good idea because I think it's an easy idea, to tell you the truth.
I've never been to a Brazilian steakhouse, but it sounds interesting.
Okay, I need to have a bro date with you, and we need to hit up there's several of them in San Antonio. So
I've seen them, yeah, and you know, I was actually super excited when I lived in San Marcos. There's a place on the square that was going to become a Brazilian steakhouse, and I was ready to be a customer number one. They took over this corner on the square where there used to be a dance studio. Yeah. I guess the dance studio shut down. This is around the pandemic. They put countless money into it to transform it into a really nice looking restaurant and bar area. And they must have hit some kind of city ordinance issue. And I don't know what it was, but it never opened. And it was very much a, anger towards the city when I followed up on it because I wanted to support it. And I hear Brazilian steakhouses are nice. They might be a little expensive, but you will not go home hungry.
We should hit up the executive lunch at Brasil sometime. It's a little bit cheaper. They limit the menu a little bit, but there's so much you can choose from, and it's a lunch thing, so we won't stuff our face too much.
Yeah, but we get our days started at 4 a.m., so lunch might as well be an early dinner for us.
That's true.
Yeah.
But once you get those meat sweats, I think that might just end our day after that.
That'll be the thing is I don't want to overstuff. I went to talking about, I guess, places that you could eat if you wanted to maybe see if it'd be worth like a day trip. I need to probably schedule something like this with my mom on not Mother's Day. Is it the Salt Lick out at Driftwood?
In Driftwood, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good barbecue joint, and that's also, you get the meat sweats there because it's all you can eat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's what I was getting at was I think the only time I've ever gotten the meat sweats and felt like I was going to go into a food coma was I was a college student. It was after finals. I was super excited to go out here because I had never been out there with a few friends, and we were all so food comaed out that there was essentially no talking on the way home. It was like only a 20-minute drive home, but it's one of those things where we had just had our fill, and they had a rule that I think they wouldn't serve another plate until you finished your current plate, which makes sense. Don't waste food like that. And
yeah, there's a hack at the Salt Lick. They say you can't take anything to go, right? But you can order stuff, and if you can't finish it, they have to pack it up for you to go. So the waiters will actually look at you, and you'll be like, "Oh no, I don't want any more." And they're like, "Are you sure you don't want any more?" Wink, wink.
Yeah. No, I love that. I remember that's what we did because we were college students and we were excited about the leftovers we would have. But also at the same time, we didn't take a bite of those leftovers because they brought out a fresh plate. So I think that's going to be an idea. My mom, she wants for Mother's Day, not anything like material. She wants to like plan, I guess, days with her son, if you will. So I need to actually come up with ideas of what to do with her. So that might be something else too. On top of that is maybe make the drive out to Driftwood. She lives in Austin, so I'm going to go up to Austin.
Yeah. That's a good meeting point halfway, Driftwood.
It would be, yeah, just to have and it's a nice area. Like it's in the middle of the Texas Hill Country. So there's stuff to do around it, I'm sure. And if nothing else, exploring small towns in Texas is actually really a cool thing to do. So I think that's something that I'll think about. If you have any ideas for us,
jump in the chat.
Yeah.
Jump in the chat at Starting Lineup Live on YouTube. Hit up the show on Twitter at TSL760, or hit up our personal Twitters at DJLG210 or at On Air Carl with a K.
Yes. Thank you
for K for strikeout.
For that, yeah, and some people have hit us up on Twitter. It seems like I have Go Spurs Go. I need to see. It's funny, people you follow, and I'm going to follow her back. I've seen her on Twitter before.
Yeah, I recognize that name.
Yeah, she says, heard you on Ticket 760 this morning. What a delight. Can't wait to start my day with local sports radio. Yes, ma'am. This is local radio back on Ticket 760 in the morning.
Finally, a local sports show back on the ticket during the morning drive where it should be. And no more no offense to 2 cups of Joe and the pros or whatever they're called, but we take over the airwaves at 6 a.m. every day, and then we follow into Dan Patrick, the great Dan Patrick, and then after that, I believe it's Cowherd, and then Uncle Andy after that.
Oh man, dude, why are you throwing this pop quiz at me? I don't know what's going on at our station. I sleep after this show. Like I know Dan Patrick's next, and we should probably know the name of our lead, and I think it's 2 pros and a cup of Joe.
2 pros and a cup of Joe.
Yeah, and yeah, when it comes to the rest of our schedule, I'm usually passed out.
It's the Herd after that, who has a very weird mic technique, by the way. Have you ever seen Colin Cowherd's YouTube?
Yeah, he talks into the.
This is how his mic is on his show.
Yeah, it's almost like
guys,
it's almost like he's recording his echo.
He's
more
pointing
than anything.
the mic at the camera. It's the weirdest thing ever, and it makes me mad. Yeah,
I almost wonder if that's like a show mic, like they have on the late night TV.
Or Pat McAfee. Those mics aren't actually plugged in.
Oh, and those are like RE20s. Those are like $700 mics.
He's like this far away from him every time. It's like, and you can hear him perfectly because he's laved up.
Okay, that explains a lot. I was just like, what are they doing to those RE20s? And they're just show props. Well,
they're props.
That's a very expensive show prop. Also on Twitter, hitting me up, they call me Bob. I like his handle. It's Bite My Bait. I'm sure that he would really like his fish to bite his bait as I've gone fishing before, and it is a wait for the bait to be bitten. He says, I'm old enough to remember your pops on Spurs radio. Spurs need to get off to a fast start, stop depending on refs, and play with purpose. Yeah, there's been a lot made of the officiating in the first couple games, and I think it goes both ways. I think both Spurs and Timberwolves have some legitimate complaints about the officiating, but the refs, for the most part, have said, we're just going to let most of these guys play except for Steph Castle. And Steph draws Jaden McDaniels, the toughest defender sometimes. So that has been a point of emphasis on Twitters of the Spurs fans to say, this, that, and the other each way. I'm already tired of in this series are Minnesota fans in my mentions. It has been a week, especially after Chris Finch said that Wemby had 4 goaltends, and I'm like, I'll concede 1. And literally, they sent me a clip saying this is a goaltend on the very first block. They saw it where it wasn't a goaltend. They said he lays it off the glass and then Wemby blocks it. And it's like, no, he doesn't. And if this is the reality you're seeing, I can't deal with you. And I just get frustrated with people on Twitter sometimes, but I enjoy it because I feel a need to educate people sometimes. And then I wonder, are they just trolling me? Are people on Twitter literally just there to rage bait you? And
most of them.
Yeah, that's actually where I don't. It doesn't rage bait me, but I feel like responding because I got the time. You know, there's many times where I check my Twitter and I hadn't actually looked at the mentions in 36 hours. And I'm like, do I even respond to this anymore?
Respond to the the legit questions. It's always good to interact, but the ones that are obviously trolling, I'd just ignore them.
Well, that's where it came down to. This guy, we were going back and forth, and I literally just said we didn't even go back and forth that long. It was maybe only 2 exchanges, and I said, "Hey, pull up the video, let's see." And I go through the effort of saying, like the Naz Reid quote unquote goaltend. That was such a ridiculous block by Wemby. He blocked that ball 12 feet into the air. The ball was entirely above the square on the backboard, and Wemby pinned that one with his hands. He must have been able to touch the top of the backboard if he really wanted to on that block. Wemby, if it was even slightly on the way down, it was only slightly on the way down. It looked like it was at the top of it. And when you're looking at the world through your team's glasses, I think 50-50 calls like that give to the Spurs, 50-50 call if you're like that. If you're a Timberwolves fan, you say, hey, that was a goaltend that they missed. I think the officials are not necessarily going to take away a potential crazy block like that on Wemby. But then, I appreciate you, Bob, saying don't depend on the refs. I don't think that they will, but they didn't need the refs in game 2. They let their scoring do all the talking. Their defense was phenomenal. They hold the Timberwolves to under 97 points. I'd have to even see what they scored in that garbage time fourth quarter to say the 3-quarter score, because the Spurs just absolutely obliterated Minnesota in game 2. Game 3 tonight at 8:30. LG, I think we might need to take out a loan and go to the FIFA World Cup final. I think that it is a necessary thing if you want to go. Huh? If you want to go to the final, it will shock you how much it costs to get the premium seats. They have tripled in price this week.
Well, I know a member of the Sports Cave has secured tickets to a game in Dallas at Jerry World, and it did cost a lot.
Oh, which member?
Puma
did. That sounds very Puma of him. And I would do it too if it didn't cost an arm and a leg. But yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll tell you how much it costs if you want the best seats at the World Cup final this year in the United States. Here on Ticket 760, we wrap up the second hour, final 30 minutes of the show. We want you to stay with us and then listen to Dan Patrick, as he's the guy that's up next here on the airwaves of the 760 frequency.
This is San Antonio FC Insider, brought to you by Community First Health Plans.
Providing the benefits and support to get stronger and follow every dream. Community First Health Plans, strength and wellness.
San Antonio FC hits the road as they take on Phoenix Rising on Saturday, May 9th at 9 p.m. CT. After last weekend's 3-3 draw with the Colorado Springs Switchbacks, San Antonio sits atop the table in the West while Phoenix hangs around in the number 6 spot. San Antonio remains unbeaten in their last 4 matches, and while Phoenix is still looking to find consistency in the win column, their last match resulted in a 1-0 win over the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Catch the game tomorrow on CBS Sports Golazo at 9 p.m. That's today's SAFC Insider. I'm Katie Goodman.
At Community First Health Plans, we help you build strength for tomorrow by covering reliable medical equipment to stay strong and independent, and providing access to expert care you can trust and rely on, opening doors to your future. Our health plans give you the coverage, benefits, and support you need to get stronger and pursue every dream. Community First Health Plans, strength and wellness.
If you're not digging the content you created on your phone, maybe it's time to upgrade to a content specialist who can make your video sharp and your audio clear. Hi, I'm Carl Schoening, and I'm more than just the host of The Starting Lineup. I'm an expert in production work. I offer social media content creation to help your brand grow online using professional photo, video, and audio equipment. To learn more, shoot me an email at carlschoeningmedia@gmail.com or check out my work and shoot me a DM on Instagram at OnAirCarl. That's Carl with a K. Let's level up your content together. Right now, you're one of thousands tuned into this station. Locked in, fired up, and ready to talk Spurs, Cowboys, and everything in between. That's the unbeatable power of live radio. It reaches you instantly, and you can't scroll past it. Plus, we're streaming and growing on social media. The Starting Lineup is looking for sponsors who want direct access to this passionate audience. And when you join us, you get professional social media production included. Content created for your business. Shoot us an email right now at thestartinglineupshow@gmail.com. Team up with The Starting Lineup on Ticket 760.
Hi, everyone. It's Andy Everett. Are you still feeling tired and sluggish? It might be that you're getting older, but it could be that you have low T. And you see, as we age, we lose testosterone. For some of us, that happens way too early. I was in that boat 8 years ago, and for the last 8 years, the great providers at Synergenics have made me better than I was then. What motivates you? Your golf game? Fun things this summer with your friends and family? Synergenics can find that customized plan for you that will help you for years to come. If you're ready to live life to the fullest, book your consultation right now at feelgreatlookgreat.com.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/beat. That's ethos.com/beat.
Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This is the highlight of my morning. Hey, what's up? It's Island.
And I'm Josh.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Bacon, Egg, and Cheese Biscuit is that it's our go-to morning comfort.
And you've got that nice golden fluffy egg.
With a soft, flaky biscuit.
Crispy bacon.
Melty cheese.
You want something quick, you want something convenient, but most of all, you want something good.
There's no better way to start your morning.
There we go.
Start off the morning with a Chick-fil-A Bacon, Egg, and Cheese Biscuit with Simply Orange Juice. Order on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Hi, it's Mr. T. San Antonio RVs, locally owned. That's right, they're a mom and pop shop. From new RVs to pampered pre-owns, from big to small, whether you need a 4-person RV, an 8-person RV, or even bigger, they've got you covered. Sales, consignment, service, whatever you need, check out sanantonioRVs.com. Matt, the big dog, will take care of everything you need. And if you need service, now's the time to get it scheduled. Once again, that's sanantonioRVs.com.
Strong coffee, stronger taste. Back to Carl Schoening in the Starting Lineup.
Last 30 minutes of the Starting Lineup on Ticket 760. I have moved on from strong coffee to water and energy drinks on my day. Hope that your Friday is off to a good start. Everybody has a good weekend in store. Hopefully 2 Spurs wins, as we love talking Spurs here, and we love talking Spurs after Spurs wins. I'm your host, Carl Schoening. LG in the other studio. We are in San Antonio, Texas, where there will not be a World Cup game. Is that right? The Alamo Dome didn't get a World Cup game, LG?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think Dallas is the closest.
Dallas, and if I'm not mistaken, Monterrey, Mexico. Did they got a World Cup game or two, right?
Yeah, it's North America. It's not just America. It's all of North America.
Yeah, so I'm thinking Dallas, Los Angeles, and somewhere in Mexico are probably the most available to travel to for Texans, if you will. If you just want to take your car out to Los Angeles, you take I-10 west until you hit the beach. And if you want to go up to Dallas, you just take I-35 until you see a concrete jungle. Actually, I take that back. I-35 splits well before the concrete jungle, and you got to take a right if you want to go to Dallas. You take a left if you want to go to Fort Worth. If you take a left wanting to go to Jerry World when I-35 splits, then you're not going to have a fun time navigating all the way back over to Arlington, where there is the World Cup final. Before we get into that, you can get in contact with the show. I am at On Air Carl with a K. My name is Carl with a K. At On Air Carl is my handle. He is at DJLG210. We are also streaming live on YouTube where you can see what we look like. Yes. And I think our voices match our faces for the most part, LG.
Sure. Why not?
Well, why not? We got comments, though.
Yes. First comment in here is there is a game in Houston, a World Cup game in Houston.
Oh, cool. Good.
So Dallas and Houston, San Antonio got left out in the cold. But we have some Mother's Day comments in here. Mother's Day is on Sunday, and Hanover Fist is up in here. He says, "Are Bunyan supports a good gift for Mother's Day?" Absolutely.
I am very much into foot health. I think shoes are evil. I don't wear them as often as I can. You hear all the yoga commercials on this show, but I wear essentially Bunyan support toe spreaders. Daily.
Carl's barefoot right now.
Oh yeah. I can't stand shoes. They're very constricting, and bunions. Yeah, if you can get bunion support, that can be something that helps alleviate pain. It's very painful to do those at first. So if you get some toe spacers for your family or friends, just let them know. Wear them until you feel a little discomfort and take them off. It's a tolerance that builds up, but it is worth it for your foot health to try and counteract some of the evils that we have to deal with, the necessary evils of shoes, because I'm obviously not walking barefoot around, when I'm going to Buc-ee's and stuff like that. I'm not that much of a yogi hippie kind of thing, but I do enjoy being barefoot in environments like your home, LG, where I know that it's clean and able to walk around. And bunion support, that's actually a very much go-to Christmas gift for me whenever I'm just trying to think of like ideas. You can get some fairly affordable
Anything
ones.
that relieves pain, I think, is a good gift.
It kind of causes pain to relieve the pain.
Well, sometimes, you can't make an omelet without breaking an egg.
Yeah, I really like lacrosse balls as well, where you roll out, roll out your arches and your feet on lacrosse balls, spread out your toes with lacrosse balls. So it's worth it. I'm sure that if there's not a YouTube channel, I need to start it because I guess that would require me to get pedicures, but I suppose that could be written off on business.
Yeah, no one wants
expenses.
to see your ugly feet.
Yeah,
you got to make them look good at least.
Yeah, but it is very much something I work on all the time. My feet they do a lot of work for all of us.
I could use a pedicure. That's one thing I've never had done, manicure or pedicure.
Neither? Really?
No.
Oh, that's a Mother's Day thing. Go take your mom to a mani-pedi with a massage. Oh, great.
All right, sure. I'll take your word for it.
I highly recommend that.
Yep. So Tina G's in here with the comment as well. Tina G587. She says the pork chop at Perry's at La Cantera is to die for, or try out the Cheesecake Factory. Some mom day ideas. Then take her shopping. Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
Never been to Perry's.
If Mother's Day sneaks up on you like it does for me, because I'm just so busy working on the weekends all the time that I'm actually working on Mother's Day, so I'm celebrating it Saturday with my mom, that you almost need to like save up for it. It sneaks up on you. So if you're going to take her out for a mani-pedi, Perry's, go shopping,
that's a lot.
That's going to be a hit. And if you weren't ready for that, well, maybe you do what I'm going to do as well. Like the gift is a to be later determined trip somewhere, like, oh, hey, when our schedules match up, let's go here, so, and that's not to say that, I don't have a plan for Mother's Day gifts. I should probably find something, but my mom specifically told me she doesn't want material things. She wants experiences, which, I remember one year for Mother's Day gift, I scheduled a cat cafe visit, and my mom was kind of uncomfortable. Well, this is in Austin.
Oh, okay.
But yes,
of course it's in Austin,
But Perfecto Cat Lounge in Austin is successful enough that they're opening a cat lounge here in San Antonio if it's not already open, and it's bigger and better. So
as someone who's allergic to cats, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, that's fair. But it's a good cause to try and get these cats adopted earlier in their lives. They don't really have adult cats around there. They just have a lot of kittens running around. It's high energy.
Wow, I always thought that was just something you found in Japan.
Oh, really? No. It's very much a thing in, like you say, Austin. There are several places that try it. It's not the most profitable because like you say, there's people with allergies. There's people who just don't necessarily want to be eating and drinking around cats.
Isn't it against the health code?
You can only sell like prepackaged foods.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot that has to go into it. So yeah, like I think you can get like juices and such like that. Like, but again, it has to be like,
It's like the Wild West in Japan. They got cat cafes, they got monkey cafes, capybara cafes.
What? Oh yeah, capybaras. Okay, I had to think about what that was for a second.
Yeah, they got mini pigs. All sorts of dog cafes, different breeds. Pretty much anything goes.
Well, I appreciate the people that will financially risk to support animals and get their fosters going and their adoptions going, all that kind of stuff. But to wrap up the segment that we were talking about earlier, I hope you have deep pockets, not just for Mother's Day, but for World Cup tickets. So the prices for the best tickets for the July 19th World Cup final have now tripled.
Tripled?
The best seats earlier in the week were going for just over $10,000. The best seats are now $32,970 at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Yeah, that's where the Jets and the Giants play in football. So,
yeah, the two New York teams that do not play in New York. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, try building something like that in Manhattan. That'd be wild endeavor. But yeah, soccer's governing body listed those seats as front category 1 on its sales site on the day that the members of Congress questioned the pricing structure for World Cup tickets and asked FIFA for more transparency on asking prices. It's like, oh, you want more transparency? We'll just bump it up. And that's really a shame because I feel like it's pricing out people. So tickets for the July 14th semifinal at AT&T Stadium in Arlington were listed at $11,130, $4,330, $3,710, and $2,705. Seats for the following day's semifinals at Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz Stadium were listed for $10,000, $3,500, and $27,000. And seats for the United States opener against Paraguay on June 12th at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood were available for $2,700, just under $2,000, and $1,100. While tickets for America's June 19th game against Australia at Seattle's Lumen Field were listed at $2,700. Oh my goodness! You have to. I think I saw somebody say you could buy a used Toyota and drive to Paraguay for cheaper than it is to get into the game.
Yeah, I could literally fly anywhere in the world for cheaper than the game, going to a game. So I'd rather fly to Barcelona and watch them play at Camp Nou over there. So it's not a World Cup game, but you get to travel somewhere nice, and it would be less. It'd be less money.
It's insane, and it sucks because it prices out most people. That's like either you're spending a good chunk of your savings for 2 tickets to the World Cup, or
those better be some good seats, and they better include all my alcohol and food.
But that's the thing. Like if the best seats are $32,000 and you're dropping $5,000, that's probably the equivalent of being somewhere in the upper deck.
And soccer is not a very long game. It's pretty quick.
Yeah. It's definitely for the experience, and that's somewhat of good factor for soccer is that you know you're not going to be out there too long. You go out there and hopefully you don't get too hammered in the tailgate, and then you remember and watch and enjoy the 90 minutes of action they have. It'd be nice if it goes into extra time and PKs just to get you a little bit longer time for those $5,000 you might have spent, or $32,000 if you have it. But the people that are dropping $32,000 on FIFA tickets, they do have a little bit of a different lifestyle than radio hosts like us. Yeah.
So speaking of radio host, Puma, Sam Freeze, who hosts the Sports Cave on my channel and Sports Cave Live on YouTube, also sits in with Uncle Andy on Ticket 760 several times a week. He got tickets to a game in Dallas, and he paid $1,500 per ticket.
And it's not a United States game, is what I think.
I'm not sure who's playing, but that's still a ridiculous amount to spend on any sports event.
Yeah, no, that is unreal. And congratulations to Puma, though. I hope he has a lot of fun. That will be a lot of fun.
You better do some reporting from Jerry World.
I will live vicariously through his Instagram posts and such. Congratulations to Puma. I certainly would try and get a media credential, and if I fail, I'm not spending that kind of money. All right. We wrap up the show here. Final thoughts on Spurs and Timberwolves when we come back on Ticket 760. This is the starting lineup.
Hey, San Antonio sports fans, imagine your business scoring big with thousands of passionate listeners who are already fired up about local sports. Right now, you're one of thousands tuned into Ticket 760. This is the raw power of live radio, immediate, loyal, and impossible to scroll past. The starting lineup is looking for sponsors who want direct access to this engaged audience. Sponsors also get professional social media production included. Shoot us an email at thestartinglineupshow@gmail.com. Team up with the starting lineup on Ticket 760. If you're looking for a new way to burn calories, get some simple movement in, or just relax, I have to tell you about Black Swan Yoga San Antonio. There are 3 Black Swan Yoga studios in San Antonio at Downtown, the Vineyard, and newly opened in Alamo Ranch. Try their fire and ice for a quick workout followed by a relaxing stretch, or get a combination of cardio and strength training in their new Swan Sculpt classes. Black Swan Yoga is a donation-based studio, so no need to sign a membership or pay an expensive drop-in fee. Just swing by and give yoga a try.
Since 1993, Thomas J. Henry dedicated himself to building a firm that injured clients can trust and respect. A firm backed by a track record of success and commitment to our clients. If you've been injured, trust Thomas J. Henry. San Antonio, Texas.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Ownwell. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ownwell.com/terms. Estimate based on your neighborhood average and individual results may vary.
When I saw how high my property tax bill was, I was shocked. We couldn't afford this. But I discovered Ownwell. Ownwell reduced my property taxes and saved me over $1,000.
Your property taxes aren't set in stone. They can be protested, and they can be reduced. But instead of filing protests yourself and very possibly losing your appeal, Ownwell does it all for you. And we give you the best chance to win and save big. Ownwell has reduced property taxes for hundreds of thousands of Texans and put money back in their pocket, and you can be one of them. And unlike other companies that take half of whatever you save, Ownwell charges just 25%. And that's only if you save.
Now I don't worry about my property taxes. Ownwell reduces it every year.
Sign up now for free. Don't pay unless you save. Text TAX to 64,000. Text TAX to 64,000. Text TAX to 64,000.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds too. Get a quote right now at 800-200-1966, 800-200-1966, or biglou.com.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
On Plus Nicotine Pouches present Comfort Chronicles. A 10 o'clock tea time. How comfortable. You show up in stretchy shorts, a breathable tee, and maybe no socks.
Let the dogs breathe.
While others sweat in pleated khakis, you're in your comfort zone bombing drives. And in your pocket, On Plus Nicotine Pouches. The softest pouch on the planet. Buy a can at onnicotine.com. Products for tobacco consumers 21 years of age or older. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Creating content to promote your brand is a 24/7 hustle these days. If you're looking for someone to professionally provide videos, photos, and more, reach out for a free consultation. Hi, I'm Carl Schoening, and I'm more than just the host of the Starting Lineup. I'm an expert in production work. I offer professional live streaming, podcast recording, photos, videos, social media strategy, and more. To learn more, shoot me an email at carlschoeningmedia@gmail.com or check out my work and shoot me a DM on Instagram at OnAirCarl. That's Carl with a K. Let's level up your content together.
Your ticket for the best Spurs talk. Back to the Starting Lineup.
Yes, we do have the arrogance to call this the best Spurs talk, or at least the imaging guy with Ticket 760. We appreciate all y'all tuning into the show today. Dan Patrick coming up next. I'm Carl Schoening, the final segment of the Starting Lineup on this Friday edition. Spurs tip off against the Timberwolves tonight. LG also in the Starting Lineup with me today. LG, any predictions on how tonight will go for San Antonio?
I don't think it'll be a 40-point blowout, but I think the Spurs will get the win. I'm going to say win by about 10 points.
I get the feeling that if the Spurs have their three-point shot falling, there's almost nothing that the Timberwolves can do to beat the Spurs. And it felt like the Spurs didn't just win convincingly in game 2. They took control of the series. They figured out how to slow down already slowed down Anthony Edwards to the point where he's almost ineffective. And they're going to continue to dare Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert and Terrence Shannon Jr. to really step up their games offensively to carry that team. I don't think they have enough firepower. I think the Spurs, once again, win convincingly. You're right, maybe not 40, but I don't think that the Timberwolves can really pull it out another game here against the Spurs. I appreciate the wake-up call in game 1. That wake-up call did lead to an eventual 47-point lead in game 2. Maybe a 25-point lead here in game 3. I need to look back at it, and something we'll talk about on Monday's edition, hopefully with the Spurs up 3-1 heading back to San Antonio. But the Spurs have done a really good job with leads against Minnesota all season long. In all 3 of their matchups, they had significant leads. A couple close games for sure, but the Spurs, they really do know how to jump out to good leads here against Minnesota. So that'll be an 8:30 tip-off on WOAI, also on Prime. If you want to watch the video, turn down the Prime feed, turn up the radio feed. It's on the Spurs app. Spurs Radio Game Night gets started at 8 o'clock from the Frost Plaza at the Rock at La Cantera. I'll be out there with Dylan Emery. You told me it's sold out.
I just checked the wait list, yeah, and it looks like it's sold out at the watch party, so it's going to be jam-packed out there.
And did you try and get on the wait list? Are they even letting people on the wait list anymore?
No, we go to the wait list and it just says sold out.
Yeah, okay, then that's interesting. I'm obviously going as a media member. I will tell you, it is a good time, but it is a lot of people. It's a madhouse. It makes me happy because there was a time about 6 years ago where we were curious if we would ever be able to do stuff like that again, and now we just sort of are used to it. So I appreciate that everybody is out there having a fun time at the Rock at La Cantera. Once again, I'll be out there with Dylan Emery. He gets the WOAI coverage started at 7:30 with Spurs Countdown, and then he'll also have Spurs Post Up afterwards. I'm sure he'll be talking about Spurs on the Fanatics on Sunday. So for DJ LG, I've been Carl Schoening, thanking y'all for joining us here on the Starting Lineup. We're back at it for week number 3, coming up 6 a.m. Monday morning when we come back. Until then, we have Dan Patrick coming up next here on Ticket 760. Have a good weekend, everybody. Go Spurs, go.
Go Spurs, go!
Spurs Insider. Brought to you by Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino Hotel.
A best-of-7 series is down to a best-of-5 as the Spurs and Timberwolves continue their Western Conference Semifinals with Game 3 tonight in Minnesota. Spurs evened up the series at a game apiece following Wednesday's 133-95 win at the Frost Bank Center. 38-point playoff win was the third largest in franchise history, while the 133 points was the most scored by the Spurs in 43 years. Coverage tonight begins at 8 on Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI.